Hey guys, my name is Nigel Fuller. I'm a life and performance coach. I help high achieving executives rewire their identity so they can perform at their highest level. So, guys, the other day I was coaching one of my clients and I realized so often you find that people struggle with having the energy to do basic things. And it makes sense, right? The cost of living is going up. People are having to work two and three jobs. There's just been like this massive layoff. Like there's just so many things going on and people are struggling to simply stay in good spirits and high energy. So I just thought of like a funny story. This is just a side note. I'm going to add this in, right? But I have one client who they brought this blow up mattress into the office with them whenever they needed to pull all nighters. And they would actually blow. I'm like, dude, are you sleeping in the office? And they're just like, yeah, man, I got to do what I got to do to make ends meet. And I'm like, I hear that, but sheesh. But it led to me coming up with a system that would definitely help anyone because that's the biggest problem that we have. We don't have a system in place that allows for us to actually have a structured life so that we do have the energy when it comes to maybe hanging out with friends and family or maybe your lover. So today we're going to talk about 4 daily habits that keep high performers energized. I'm going to start with step one, proper hydration. Guys, they take so much time to tell us how H2O is so significant. We got to stay hydrated. But no one talks about how H2O is not even a sufficient form of hydration if it doesn't have minerals, right? And so you find things like maybe core or, there's been like lots of different waters. I typically go a whole different route. If I'm doing like any type of H2O, there's like plasma water, but for the most part, I want to talk about the three types of waters really quickly, right? So there's H2O, which we commonly know. We drink it, we bathe in it, we do all that stuff, we swim, all that, right? Then there's H3O. H3O is only found in the body. Then you have H3O2. H3O2 is found in fruits and vegetables. For example, watermelon, melon, uh, kiwi. Sucks. I love kiwi so much, but I'm allergic. Um, what's another one? Cactus. Cactus is really good for those types of things. And when I say proper hydration, what I mean is it starts to boost that threshold, that stamina. For example, like I'll use a good one. In some games, like they've got like the realism aspect to it. So like if your character is dehydrated, their maximum stamina gets burned out or reduced to whatever level based off of their level of dehydration. So they might not have access to that full stamina that they would normally have, and that's the same process with us. Like we're all dehydrated for the most part because we're drinking H2O thinking it's going to give us that sufficient supply of energy and sustenance and hydration, when in reality we need things like coconut water or watermelon water or cactus water. Another thing is I I I tested this out. In my fitness routine, I love running. I need incline when I run. I need to be on some steps. I do not like running on a flat surface for like 45 minutes to 2 hours. It just doesn't do anything for me. So I typically like to, have some sort of incline, maybe steps, whatever. And I might add like some quick bursts of speed in between that, to kind of give me that mixed, feeling so that I don't really platform. But I realized that when I only had H2O water, right, I, I had a struggle with keeping my like numbers up. So I could do maybe 15 laps before I started to feel that burnout or like that exhaustion. Whereas when I took time and I drink specifically, I would go to Trader Joe's. You can go there. You can get it from your local supermarket. Oh, there's different brands. But I like the Trader Joe's brand. So I got the Trader Joe's brand and I would drink like the 33 ounce, cartons of coconut water. You can mix that with like Pedialyte sports powder, and it'll give it the flavor, because we all know a lot of people just don't like coconut water. Like it can be an acquired taste. I like it. I don't have a problem with it. But for the people who do find it to be an acquired taste, you can definitely just add like, again, like some Pedialyte sports powder. It gives you everything you need. You'll have the energy to actually move forward. And what I noticed is that when I drank coconut water in the middle of or while I was building my reps and my ability to work out and sprint and run and just, having my stamina be good, I noticed I could go for longer periods of time. It got to the point where I had to tell myself, like, all right, it's getting late, I got to go home. As opposed to before, when I was just having H2O, I was just like, sheesh, this is like too much for me. So you want to have a proper form of hydration, and you definitely want to put yourself in a position to succeed. And that's one of the greatest steps you can do. The next step is a healthy sleep cycle. Guys, the human body is designed a way, it's meant to function a way just like everything else in reality. Everything works off of systems, right? It's not day, night, it's day, then night. Right? It's a system. Everything responds to that, just like the human body. It's birthed out of nature. And so we have what's called a circadian rhythm, which is our internal clock. It allows us to sync up with the world, nature, reality as it is. And that is divided into 3/8. So you have 24 hours, then you have 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. Now, it's really 7, but again, in most cases, when you're dealing with anything, even when you're looking at other systems, you'll see there's always an hour of transition. And so in that eighth hour, your body will be transitioning, but one set of 8 will be, for example, oh no, I'm like butchering this, but so it's ingestion, digestion, then release. So during a set period of time is the best period of time for you to eat. During the next period of time, your body is taking time and energy to digest that food. The time period after that is the time where your body's going to release. I'll give you a perfect example of how that works. So from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., that's the best time for you to eat food. Now, I recommend people get like your last meal in around like 6, 5:36. You want to give yourself enough time to, take that food in and then let it settle in the body and do what it needs to do. Then from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., the body is digesting that food, but it's also digesting the information that you might have taken in, right? And everything else that you might have pulled in from your environment. Then from 4 a.m. to 12 p.m., that is the period of time where you are releasing, the body is getting rid of what no longer serves it. So you want to keep a nice rhythm so that you can actually function at a much higher capacity rather than being below the bar. And I think there was a study done which shows that men need a minimum of about 6 or 7 hours so that they can actually function like a normal person. And I think women need a minimum of 8 or 9. And I think that's pretty insane, but I think that can be fixed if you simply work on the system that the body was designed to work on. So that's one thing. The next thing will be your fitness routine. Now, when it comes down to this type of thing, a lot of people don't like fitness. Personally, I know it can be a struggle, right? Like we have our everyday lives, we have to do what we have to do, and then to try and squeeze like some time in for fitness, it can be hard. But here's the thing, right? There's no cheat code for that. There's no like pill that's gonna get you your waist snatched, your abs just shredded. You have to do the work. So, with that being the case, one of the best things and the most important thing I would say for the body will be cardio. Now, 20 to maybe 30 minutes of jump rope a day, 4 days out of the week, that will put you above the average person. And it will at least keep you energized because the body will flow more naturally. I'll give you an example of that. There was a day where I was feeling pretty tired. I was like dragging, and then I realized like I didn't work out. I didn't do any type of cardio. I need to do something. So I got in the gym. I got the jump rope. I did some steps. It's obviously that's going to be more than 20 or 30 minutes, but that cardio helped my heart. You need to give your body assistance because all we do for the most part is eat, consume. We do most things out of rhythm and outside of the system that the body's supposed to work on. So that can only breed abnormalities of whatever kind, right? Obviously that'll heighten your fatigue. And so to avoid that stuff, you can do simple, uh again, 20 to 30 minutes of jump rope. Here's another exercise. I just thought about this one. I think you guys would like this one. So this is an exercise that I haven't really used outside of like, and I don't share this. I'll say it like that. I don't really share this all the time, other than maybe like here and there. If I feel like there's a client who really needs it, I'll be like, hey, you can try this out. I know it sounds absurd, but just give it a try, right? Clapping your hands, right? Clap your hands for at least 15 minutes. And then when you finish, hold your hands together in this position and hold it there for at least a minute and let that energy kind of settle down because you're going to notice there's like this vibration that you feel, right? You can do something as simple as that for like 15 minutes. I promise you, you will start to see a difference because the energy flows. Your organs are holographically found in your hands. And so that's like a secret pump when you're clapping your hands, right? And so when you finish that session of you clapping your hands, you simply do this position, you hold that, and boom, you're done for the day. You can do that if you don't want to do jump rope and things like that, even though I recommend it. You can do something like that to kind of like substitute the exercise aspect because that's still a form of cardio. But you need some sort of cardio because you gotta just get that energy flowing. Like that something has to give, right? All right. And then the final step will be healthy exposure to sunlight. Now, I know there are different, levels of tolerance that people have. I don't even think this day and age is limited to like your skin, whether or not you've got a lot of melanin. Um, a lot of people are having problem taking in that solar sustenance. And so I got it down to a place where I think it's pretty healthy. Again, this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. But what I found, it's a common thread. I found this, and even with my clients, I've been able to recommend to them this method: 2 hours of sunlight every day. In fact, if you're going to do your cardio, this is the best time to do it in the sun. 2 hours of sunlight. And I mean unfiltered sunlight. Obviously, you've got to have your clothes on. You don't want to be outside. But basically, don't put any glasses on. Just be in the sun and take in that solar sustenance for at least 2 hours. You will love yourself after that. There's people who I've heard people just say, like, yo, like I thought I was depressed, and then I went outside and I got some sunlight and I realized I was just being a hermit, you know? And so, there are so many things that we do in a day. There are so many responsibilities we have. There are many things that pull from our attention, and we need to also do equal, if not more, work to make sure that we have sufficient supply. Right? Um, there was a quote from Myron Golden. He said, "Wealth is a high energy result." And so, one of the greatest things to do if you're trying to take off is to build your base level of energy. If you've got more energy, it's easier for you to take off, right? So my goal is to make sure you get to that what they call on the airplane when the plane is about to take off, they call it the point of no return, or that terminal velocity, right? Now, it's not going to be a bad type of terminal velocity, right? But it's that speed where it's like, there's no going back, right? And it's for a good purpose. We have wings. They need to be spread. We need to be flying. We need to take off. That aerial view will give us a much better sight on what's going on. And so this has been 4 daily habits that keep high performance energized. Maybe I was all over the place. I hope you guys got some content from this. Like, share, subscribe. If this is something that you can relate to, please drop some comments. Let me know. Like, how do you feel about coconut water? What's your sleep habits like? Were you aware that there's different types of water anyway? You know what I mean? Feel free to interact. I appreciate your time, your energy. Stay blessed.